Welcome. This is David Bowles' Human Meme. Today's topic, the problem with telemedicine. I do remember an apothecary, and hereabouts he dwells, which late I noted, in tattered weeds, with overwhelming brows, culling of simples. Meagre were his looks, sharp misery had worn him to the bones, and in his needy shop a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes, and about his shelves a beggarly account of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders, and musty seeds, remnants of pack-thread, and old cakes of roses, were thinly scattered to make up a show. William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Act 5, Scene 1. Well, old Shakespeare headed in for doctors, nailed 'em right to the board for the dusty of antiquities that they are, and have been. And while I'm not much better, any better, really, I do try to keep up in my dotage, because I'm an old world, old-timer, techie, not a hard and stilted technocrat like some of my friends. No, I'm more of a warm and chewy techie. Oh, and as a side note to the techie world, the worst clients you can serve are, I have learned the hard way, doctors. Because doctors believe they control the threads of life and the strings of death. And while they do cut and manipulate those manners of living, they also think they know everything about everything, while also claiming in the same breath, often, and not indiscriminately, that you, and people like you, folks of your ilk, know nothing about everything, unlike them. So, my human meme friend, I warn you, try to stay away, if you can, from a working relationship with a doctor. Unless, of course, you are a doctor yourself. You'll regret it if you do. Or if you don't. So, I enjoy technology. I'm a technology evangelist. I have made a lot of money over the years promoting the brave new world of computers and the internet and social media. And yes, I am a proponent of the utter digitization of our lives over the nostalgic aesthetic of paper and its machines. I've been online with my business websites since the early 1990s. I've had those websites up and online since at least 1996, and they are all still up and still running to this moment in this day. And hey, I've also written many books, over 55 books written so far, and some of those 55 I wrote were about Windows 95 communications, and Macs, and Microsoft Office, and so on. So, yeah, I'm a tech guy. And it turns out I'm also a tech guy who now happens to hate online medicine. Telemedicine. So there, I just said it. But enough about me. There's a bigger danger lurking out there, and that danger is this, the disappointment of basic expectation. And I learned this week that telemedicine is just terrible. Telecommuting is wonderful. Television, fantabulous. But telemedicine, not so much to like there right now. So here's what happened. I needed a quick fix, a little bit of help from an online doctor because my regular in-person doctor's office is still closed due to the coronavirus pandemic. This happened a little while ago, but I'm telling you about it now. It took me some time to get over it. And at that time, my medication was running out. And so I thought I'd be smart and safe, and I turned online to get some help. And I was denied that help. Now, it stands to reason if telemedicine was actually a viable replacement for a doctor's office visit, I'd be all in for it in every way. Just like telecommuting is pretty much an even replacement for working in an office. But telemedicine today places you in the company of a stranger. At least right now. A stranger in which you have no prior relationship, and that stranger has no intention of creating a bedside manner. So these online doctors have no real vested human interest in you as a person. You're just a body to them. There today and gone in 60 seconds. And sure, they might write you a 30-day prescription, but they will not journey into the 90-day prescription uncanny valley to save you any money or to actually help you. And they won't do it because of some ephemeral policy that makes no sense. You either replace an in-person doctor visit or you do not. It's just that bloody simple. Oh, and speaking of blood, during my recent telemedicine visit, I was berated for a solid 2 minutes, as if I were stupid, for not having a more recent blood test than 6 months ago. Well, I usually get blood work done from my regular doctor every 6 months or so, so I was not out of spec, considering at that time we were in the middle of a lockdown, in the midst of a pandemic for the past 4 months, especially here on the East Coast. And the telemedicine doctor knew all of that because we were both living and working in the same state. So I asked this online doctor how I could have had blood done over the last 4 months when everything was closed because of the coronavirus. And this horrible online doctor didn't care. She just kept berating me and looking at me for not having a more recent blood test. Oh, good gosh and golly. I was just trying to get a refill on maintenance medicine that I'd been on for 7 years. She could check that, and she did not care about that, no. No, she only cared about making fun of me over a blood test I hadn't been able to take. And when this was all going on, I was in a bit of a shock. I thought I was going to be helped, and instead I'm being pushed away and made fun of. I'm not used to dealing with irrational people with a medical degree. And so, my human being friend, if a telemedicine doctor will not give you a 90-day supply of a medication or will not do something else that you need, and if that doctor will not help you, well, that something needs to be stated up front online before the visit. Your visit begins with that doctor, so you don't get charged for a no-service telemedicine visit. What is the point of entering into a virtual doctor's portal if, from the jump, the doctor is not going to help you with what you need fixed? Oh, and sure, there's a whole slew of chat-bot questions you get asked before you get into the meeting. Interrogation, really, before the session even starts. But if that online doctor does not read that initial chat that you typed up, and mine clearly did not read anything, and if that doctor then starts a conversation with you from base one with no visible prior knowledge about you or why you are there, what is the point of any of it at all, really? Well, now that some time has passed and the bloodletting has settled just a bit, let me clearly state this for the record. In the past, many, many years ago, right at the start of the telemedicine revolutionary dawn a decade or so ago, I successfully, relatively, found a telemedicine doctor who helped me online with an eye infection. And that was fine, and it went well. Now, during the meeting, I had to perform lots of hold your eye closer to the camera gymnastics, but in the end, it went okay. And I was treated with proper care and attention and medication in the end. And my lovely wife had an issue with a sore leg, and we did a telemedicine visit many years ago, all handled perfectly. So sure, there are some things telemedicine can do well. Mom stuff, first-year residency sort of stuff, hold your eye closer to the camera sort of stuff. But today, telemedicine can't really, will not, and doesn't want to help you with the bigger stuff, the bigger picture events. Not emergency events, just bigger commitment events. Events that would normally take you into the relative realm of actually going into a doctor's office in person. So telemedicine today is more triage than treatment. And that's fine as long as that is understood by both parties, the patient and the doctor, up front before the session begins, so the patient is fully informed. And I admit I should have known I was maybe in a little trouble with my request before my visit began, when the short list of symptomatic medical concerns listed on the telemedicine website were simplistic and childlike. A sore knee, a bug bite, itchy eyes, a bruised thumb. Yeah. None of that really needs a professional telemedicine visit, because there's nothing really much to be done about any of that for the full price of a copay. So, my human mean friend, let me make this clear. I believe in the future of telemedicine for everyday use. Who the heck wants to sit in a doctor's office in a room full of really sick people just to get yourself a medication refill? It's much better and safer for everyone involved to virtually meet your doctor online and get your meds and maybe even a little checkup. And yeah, it's hard to do weight and blood pressure and EKGs and shots and stuff virtually, but you can do it if your doctor trusts the equipment you have in your home. And your doctor may just trust you enough to believe in the quality of your equipment, because you already have a standing relationship with your doctor. Not a stranger. And we already have virtual prescriptions, right? It works well. So can the virtual CAT scan and the esoteric MRI be far behind? Use an app on your phone to scan part of your body, have it instantly sent to your doctor, and there you go, healed from your home. Yeah, that might happen, maybe in 5 to 10 years or so. The sooner the better, for all of us. And yes, I know doctors tend to be old-school conservative. They want to do what they know, and they want to rely upon only their training they had when they were in medical school. So if you want cutting edge and new and fresh, you probably may need to find a young doctor who just started practicing. You'll probably get a more open mind and better access and acceptance of technology, because it's sort of an open secret that many doctors today are technologically shy if they're of a certain age. They barely use a computer, and some of those doctors still don't even have a fax machine, and they don't use email to communicate with their patients. Yes, many doctors were pulled screaming and yelling into the age of electronic prescriptions. But that system works now, and has worked, and it will work. And that's the one big hope we bring to this conversation we're having right now. That telemedicine can and must work for everyone, not just the select few with a good internet connection and a fast computer. Equality in medical care equals equity in access to all forms of public health and personal well-being. And we need to fix all of that too. Not just the ramshackle telemedicine virtual visits of today in the now. No. Now that we've solved the problem of telemedicine today, we must next turn to virtual dentistry. Just open your mouth, say "aw," and let the Novocaine needles flow into your mouth from the streaming web, and let the drooling and the drilling attachments for your teeth begin streaming from your dentist's secure server. Why not? Open wide. The internet is shooting for your mouth. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. William Shakespeare, Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 1. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.